Hey everyone, welcome to Ghost Prime Transformers Reviews, and I'm taking a look at this Chucky boy right here, Earthrise Leader Class Doubledealer. This guy is the latest Leader Class figure in the Earthrise line. He is very chunky, very good. He's not a Voyager, which fucking finally he's not a Voyager. He is a really nice rendition, a really nice update to the Generation 1. He does not come with Scar and Knock, unfortunately. Those were a separate pack you have to buy. And I believe they are sold out. You need to look for those on a third-party site such as eBay, which you might pay a little bit of a premium for them. However, this figure is made very well. There's a couple gripes I have about it, which I'll go over in the review. Now, Doubledealer is not an Autobot or Decepticon. He's a mercenary. And even in the Generation 1, he was like that. But he never appeared in the Generation 1 cartoon. There was a couple commercials made for him, but he had never had any type of animation in Generation 1, at least on the US side. I'm not as familiar on the Japanese side. He did appear in the Marvel comics, however, as a mercenary. And his toy looked very much like this. This is a fantastic update to the Generation 1 toy. I don't have a Generation 1 Doubledealer, unfortunately. I'm still in the market for one. I have not been able to find a decently priced, complete one. I'm still in the process of looking. There's still stuff I have to collect. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. All right, so you take a look at the packaging. It is a very large size box because he is a Leader Class figure. It has the kind of a standard Earthrise on the front. On the top, you see a Decepticon logo, which I find interesting. I'll mention why later. On the side, you have another beautifully rendered image here of him in battle, shooting at something off the side of the box. Let's get in close to look at that. I'll go handheld here for a second with the camera to look at this artwork. It's just beautiful. Beautifully rendered. Love this artwork. All these artworks on these have been awesome. Also, Autobot logos. On the back, you have his different alt modes, and it shows his little blast platform here for the rocket, for the missile, and of course the Earthrise on the side, and legal stuff on the bottom. Inside the box, of course, you get the instruction booklet, which is a fairly good size. Goes through all the different steps for transformation very clearly, which is really nice, and you're going to need some on part of it. Transforming into the bird, I did not find straightforward if you don't use the instructions. One thing that is missing in these instructions is Scar and Knock. It doesn't show anywhere about Scar and Knock. And of course, you have the map piece with the decoder. And in the decoder, it says Caminus. So this is the map for Caminus. Also, one thing I did want to note. The packaging art shows the Decepticon logo, yet the insert has the Mercenary logo, similar to what Exhaust has. I find that very interesting. They could have just put that logo on the side, but instead they decided to put it inside the packaging. And it has the other, I believe that's the Leader Class logo there. And of course, in the box, you have the figure. Now, the figure comes without any weapons attached to him, but he has plenty of weapons that he comes with in the package, like his main pistol here. And the front of that, which is the front of the missile, he has what I believe to be either a radar or a range finder. He has a small gun, and he has 2 of these grenade launchers. Right here, both exactly the same. All of them have 5mm pegs, and there's a ton of holes on the figure itself where you could stick those. So here's gun. This goes on his shoulder, either shoulder you choose. Both have pegs on there. These could go anywhere. These could go on the legs. I believe the instructions show them there on the legs on either side. This could go on here or his other shoulder. Oh, and he has one more thing. This is his launch pad and backpack. There's 2 different ways that this connects. I like to connect connect it like this. Put these two tabs here into here. It does interfere a little bit with this. Then stick those out. It goes like that. It gives them less of a backpack. The instructions call for this to be pushed up straight like this, and then kind of force this to snap like that. Put these around, and then these tabs go up into the bottom of this. Like that, which gives them a bit of a backpack, and I'm not super fond of that. But this figure is meticulously detailed. He is a beautiful figure. And as I get in close here, one thing I do want to point out about the detail is his stomach here. That looks like there is a Power Master there. It looks like Knock. Now, I'm sure you guys know that the chest does open up like so, and it has room for a cassette there. I happen to have Knock right here. But if you notice, there's the engine to Knock. And you could actually take that out, which is on a little 5mm peg. You take the back of this, the peg like that, and then you could peg the engine onto Knock so he actually completes that Power Master look, which is very cool. I'm really glad they did that. Just stick that in there like so, and what I do is turn this around. Now it won't snap into place, but it will hold. It holds through friction, and it does very well. And the colors all match up on the chest, so I think it looks wonderful like this. There is not really a spot for Scar on it. On the robot mode, I would think the backpack, but he falls out of that little hole, which I'll demonstrate later. So getting back into the detail, I mean, it is very nicely detailed. Kind of all around, he has some really, really, really nice detail. And pretty much everything, including, look at that head sculpt. He has a very nice head sculpt. So before I get into articulation, let's do some size comparisons. Now, he is a leader class figure, so he's expected to be leader class size. Now, if we look at a previous leader class, Astrotrain, he is a bit taller than Astrotrain, which is nice because Astrotrain was fairly small. However, when we compare him to something like the combined form of Ultra Magnus, get those in frame here. As you can see, Ultra Magnus, move the camera up just so you can see this a little bit. Ultra Magnus is a bit bigger than him. And to compare him to a Voyager, there he is with Megatron. He is still a bit bigger than Megatron. He actually feels a lot heavier than Megatron, even though they're roughly similar in height. So a lot more plastic went into this guy. He is also very close to the G1, and I unfortunately do not have the G1 figure, as I've stated. I wish I did. I really wish I did to compare. He is really good. Just for a little, see if I could just stick a image right there, since I don't have the G1, of the G1 Doubledealer, so you can see just how close they are. All these detail is present in the Generation 1 and this guy. Really cool. I'm glad they went with a very G1 look. Now, some of the things you could also do with this guy is he could be, since he's a mercenary and plays both sides, move his shoulder pieces down here, and he could be a Decepticon. Also, that's really cool. So one thing I did want to note that I don't like about my figure is his, if you notice, he will not hold his gun. You kind of have to, his arms are double jointed here. So you kind of do that to hold his gun, which is okay, but I wish he had some tighter joints. A couple of joints are like that. And that brings me into articulation. So for articulation, start out here, he does have a full 360 at the waist. And his legs should go forward and backward all the way. His knees, not as much, not quite 90, because you see he hits this piece of the back there. He does have ankle tilts. He also rotates a very little bit at the upper thigh here. And if you take this, put the wing down, his shoulder is kind of off-centered, but does do 360. He's double jointed at the elbow, mainly due to transformation. He has a wrist swivel, and he has a bicep swivel. He also has, his head is on a ball joint, so it moves up and down a tad, and it will do just about 360. It kind of gets stuck on this hinge in the back right here, on this hinge. But you could get some pretty good poses out of him. So moving on to transformation, I'm going to remove these. I'm going to remove the engine. It's not necessary to do that, but just to show you, to start from here. So let's remove his backpack. And I'm going to attempt to transform him into the bird first. There's a couple steps I'm not super fond of the bird. It's very hard to get him into. So what you want to do is you want to take this piece and move this up. And what I'd like to do, is take his hands, move them, put his fists all up in here. Then you take, there's this little tab right there. Let's get that in focus. Right there and right there. And you can move his arm back. Tab that into place and make sure that's straight, so you get this sort of look here. And you do that on both sides. Move it back. Tab into place. So you have something that looks like that. His legs are a bit difficult. So this needs to be moved up like this. And let's actually just open all this up right now. So bring it up here to his feet. So my camera stopped recording, so I apologize. So what I was saying is you take and move these pieces up like this from here to here. And then this is kind of tricky. So what you're going to want to do is you want to take his leg here and turn it like this and like this, so you have like this is the whole top piece here. And then inside, so you go like this, move these around, kind of like that. So, because there's a hinge right here, so take it and turn it all the way around. Get that out of the way, like so, which reveals the back side. Now, one thing I've seen a lot of people kind of get wrong in this is there's this tab here goes in this slot right here. So if you get in real close, I can show you. This right here, and you see there's two joints here, and this will lock into here. Now, it's kind of tricky to do. I've done it a few times. I kind of push like that, push that in, because there's a tab. If you notice, there's a tab right there, and there is one right here on either side. And you want to get those tabs to line up. So you push it in, and once you get it like that, still not all the way in. There, big snap. All right, now these have to be locked in, but I'm gonna do it on both sides first. There. They do that, and then what's easy enough is to take this, and just tab those together. So now that you have these all lined up, one thing, definitely need to move these around. Put this down, put this up, make sure this is like so. Once they line up, you gotta kind of press them into place. One side. Once we get that in there. Okay, and the other side, just like that. So those need to line up for this to work. So you move this piece up like this. What was the chest stays there, and this locks it in place, so it stays kind of secure. Now, this piece here, so you can leave the arms out like that. But this piece here ends up going right there. So what you have to do is take the wings, unfold the wings, open up this panel, revealing the bird head, and then take this piece, move this around. The top of the head will always hit this piece of plastic, which is terrible.
clearance is super tight. They could have shaved a little bit off that. It doesn't hurt anything since it's not painted. It's black plastic, but it's still annoying. Take this piece, friction lock it in there, bird head, twist, pull out. The arm pieces go like this, all the way around, like so. And then you could take feet, like that, either side, and you can stand them up. You will stand up like that. Extend the wing, unfold the outer part on both sides. The wings are ratcheted, which is nice. And then you're almost done with the bird. So you want to take the gun and the rocket, connect them together like that. And there's this piece. So there's a couple different ways to attach this. One of the ways in the instructions is to use this and connect it right there, and then have this piece plug into here. So you have this, and then you take this and snap it. Actually, every time I do this, it feels like it's going to break to me, so I don't want to do this on this video, but that's how it's like that. So you have this whole piece like that, and that would be the tail. These move down. There's also another way to do it, which is to leave this connected, and you have these two tabs here, and you just kind of put it on there, but like that, which makes that relatively loose, but it still works. Or leave this like that. This is kind of what I like to do, make it more G1, have these be two separate pieces. Keep the gun connected to the tail. Turn it to the underside, you will see there's two holes there and a peg, 5mm port. And this could just peg in, so you get a very G1 look out of it with the rocket on the bottom and the gun on top, which this is the way I like transforming it. And these other pieces you can kind of fit on wherever. In the instructions, these little grenade pods say to go on the right there on the side. This goes under in his hand, as does this. So there he is in the bird mode. Again, this is super G1. Super G1. They do a great job at making this very close to the Generation 1 toy, which I love. All the colors really pop. It's really nice. So just a really well done update to the Generation 1 character. Now you can kind of flap his clicky wings, and they do extend, kind of, get him in like a nice position. I think it's really cool. He's got a little bit of articulation in the neck. He does have his mouth can open up, which is really cool. So to get this guy into missile launcher mode, kind of remove these pieces. You kind of do a lot of the reverse, is you take the feet, fold them back up, like so. Remove this piece like this. Then you want to return the bird head to its position. So you want to turn this, so it's kind of off center here, and you want to turn it so it's flat. Move that all the way down. And then you could take this, unlock it, move the arm so it could move, fold it back around, tab that in. This piece stays out like that. You will have to undo the legs. So these legs need to be extended further than this in order to be in the Earth mode, or the missile launcher mode. So, like I said, these are still tough to do. So I like to undo them entirely so I don't bend these pins. Pull it out a bit. So I need to unhinge this from there, right? And then they snap in, so it is kind of tough. There we go. Pull up and out. Right, like that. So it does get a little longer. Take the wings. Now the wings are offset, so this one is higher than this one. Fold the wing back, like that. Fold that, and like that. And then That just kind of gets these pieces out of the way for now while you're transforming. So you take this piece, move that back flat like that. Now this goes like this. So the knee kind of, it does go back here. Now there's another tab. So if you see on the leg, tab right there, that's where this tab from there goes into there. So you're going to want to do that. Make sure they're lined up. Tab these together. You could move arms down. Oops. Like so. So the wheels are on the bottom. Then what you want to do is, this is on a separate hinge. So take this piece and untab it on the arm. Move this up like that. So you get this out of the way. Twist the arm like that. And there's a tab here and a hole there. And that's where it tabs into place. This piece here goes down, and you could see these two tabs here. Tab that in. Like so. Make sure they're tabbed on the legs. Move this like that. Leave that up. Gonna do the same on both sides with the arms. Oh, that came up all together. Around, twist, turn, peg. Once you have these like this is what you have right now, right? This is tabbed in the front, arms up. Take the missile, connect that together like that. Tab these two tabs go in these two holes. Put that down. And then you have this back piece here that goes on like this. You have these two pegs. They go into the two holes in the back, like that. These go up. This is kind of hard to do because it feels like it's not supposed to, but it goes up like that. You take the rangefinder or whatever actually that is, and you could have these missile pods, and you can either stick them on the side here, or you could, or not missile pods, the rocket or grenades, and you put them in one of the mini holes that are all over this thing. But I put them on either side. So take this gun, this goes here. Again, you could also put this gun here, or you could put this, here. There's plenty of places to do this. So what you can do here is you can move that down. These stabilizers go like this, and missile comes up. Now it does reveal the head if you move this back. So kind of like that, or like that. It's just something you could do. It's kind of cool. Another thing you could do is, so you have the chest piece here. If you untab it, now there's no tabs on the other side that actually tab in, but turn it around like that, since this is technically his Autobot mode, but none of the faction symbols show up on either mode, which is also a G1 accurate. So stick them in there like that. This goes back down, doesn't impede anything. One of the things that you could also do with the back, now this is something that kind of bothers me, that you can't put on the robot. So you could put Scar just like that, and he stays well enough to roll around. And you just kind of drag him behind there. That's really the only spot you could have for both of the Power Master figures on the figure on Double Dealer at one time. It is kind of a shame that I can't even stick because of this. He won't even stay. For some reason, my Not figure won't stay in here. So on the bird, which I forgot to show you, but I'll demonstrate here, is that he, oh, his feet are out. He does not fit as tightly in there as him. So he just, and since this face is like that in the bird, he just likes to fall out. Which is a shame, which is definitely a shame. But he's fairly good size in this mode. This is a really nice throwback to his Generation 1 figure, toy. Of course, there's a big gap right here mainly due to transformation. There's really nothing you can really do about that. Otherwise, it's really good. He has ports all over him. He's got, You know, the little points where you can put some blast effects on them, also all over them. This, I mean, there's a ton of things you could do. There's also these two ports here, which seems like to lock it in somewhere, and I haven't found what to do with those yet. They're not in the instructions, but I really like this mode. I like this figure. I think he's very good. Let me get a comparison here. So here he is here in vehicle mode, next to Leader Class Optimus Prime, the alternate universe one I reviewed recently. Right there, so you kind of get a sense for the size of him. Let's go here. So he's got a lot of size on him. Actually, weight-wise, it feels like this one's heavier, even with the trailer. So he's chunky. He's a nice chunky figure. He's a very good addition to the line. I'm really happy to get him. He definitely lives up, even with some slight joint issues that I have. Overall, I think he's a good buy. For some final thoughts on him. So this guy is a really nice leader class. Like I said, he has a couple looseness, a little bit of looseness in mine in the arms, which is a shame. I wish that it was a little tighter, and there's no way to tighten it since it's a pin. It doesn't hurt the figure. Your mileage may vary with it. It's something that my particular one has. Otherwise, I find this figure really nice. He looked really good on the shelf. Now, it would be nice if he did come with the Power Masters and you didn't have to get the Spy Patrol 3rd unit in order to get Scar and Knock. One of the things I really like, though, about Knock is he does come with this engine. That is something sorely missing on the figures. I went over that in my review. So I think that is really cool that they had the foresight to do that. I only wish Scar had a back piece, that he came with something to put on Scar to make him more like the Generation 1. This is the way I kind of like to display it, with the Power Master in the chest. He's not so bad the other way either. Looking very good. You know, the color breakup of this guy is super nice. I would say if you are collecting the Earthrise line, that even if you don't have a Generation 1, especially if you don't have a Generation 1 Double Dealer, get this guy. He's a really nice figure. Looks fantastic next to the other ones. And he's kind of chunk. He's good. He's a decent figure. He's really, really nice. So please, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you don't, do what you have to do. Subscribe. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you guys very soon with the next review.